We are coming to the end of our 10th weekend, and today we are having our 20th class in quantum psychotherapy. And our topic today, or the title of what we are covering today, is Quantum Transformation Therapies for Quantum Spiritual Personal Growth, Development, and Transformation. We have been on a pilgrimage to our inner hermitage through a process of quantum transformation. What quantum transformation therapies will you as an individual use to have a quantum leap transformation? Quantum spiritual personal growth, development, and transformation refers to a holistic quantum change, a sudden lasting shift in consciousness, perception, behavior patterns, dramatic positive shifts in personality and perspective that moves beyond incremental self-improvement to fundamental leap-like change. And there are therapies and approaches and models for quantum personal growth, development, and transformation that blend quantum approaches and principles of entanglement and non-locality with psychology, energy medicine, energy fields, consciousness exploration, and mindfulness to address the mind-body-spirit system and promote self-healing. And they are based on the premise that everything in the universe is made up of energy. And by manipulating these energy systems, individuals can achieve rapid, profound changes in their physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual well-being. And the aim is to break old unconscious programming to unlock subconscious blocks and rewire your nervous system for new realities. And these approaches reduce stress, promote rapid healing by addressing the body's energy field, and they use energy, intention, and consciousness to facilitate rapid, deep level changes. So I'm going to introduce you today to several models. Listen to each attentively and choose out one or two that you can use to model your own personal growth and development and transformation quantumly. So the first one is known as disintegration, insight integration, or DII model. And it is a three-stage process of transformation. And we first experience a breakdown of old ways, then gain deep awareness or insight, and finally rebuild a new sense of self, which is integration. So it's a framework for understanding quantum change, sudden, dramatic, and enduring shifts in personality and behavior, and how we move from a state of internal collapse to a profound new way of being. And it is based on the research of William Miller and Jeanette Baker. And the process unfolds in three distinct stages. And the first stage is disintegration. What are we disintegrating? So this is a pre-transformational crisis. And it's characterized by a breaking down of our existing self-structure. What you call yourself, that egoic self, that ego that has been there for you in order to survive. But it is time to get out of survival into thrival. So we have to let that ego personality go. But as we let it go, It is a period of intense suffering. The ego has been there for us. And this suffering creates the necessary void for a quantum leap. It is a stage where we undergo overwhelming stress and we face a crisis that our current coping mechanism cannot resolve. It is a painful realization of the gap between who we are currently and who we want to be. And it is often accompanied by guilt or hopelessness because of that uncertainty, because of that unknown, the unknowing. But surrender is what we need to do. One reaches a point of letting go. Because once we hit rock bottom, there is no other way to look except up. And as we begin to look up, we stop trying to control the situation with our old mindset. And that's when a glimpse of insight comes in. And that is stage 2. And that insight is that sudden self-evident experience that provides a new perspective on reality. And the epiphany happens. We suddenly realize that sudden experience or mystical experience that feels like it comes from somewhere. And it's not just an intellectual, but a tacit knowing. And one feels a fundamental truth about their life. And there is an identity shift. As the old victim failure story is replaced by a new, more empowered narrative. That's when we get into the third stage of integration. And this is the post-transformation life. And life integration is the long-term process of weeding the sudden insight into our daily life. Unlike the first 2 stages, this stage involves conscious effort and development. Our values hierarchy shifts. We are less materialistic and more spiritual and other-oriented. And there is also a transformation in the permanent changes in our habits and behavior, such as suddenly leaving an abusive relationship or ending an addiction without the typical struggle. And this is the redemption story. We reconstruct our life story, and we now see that our past disintegration was not a failure, but a necessary catalyst for this new integrated self. Have you seen yourself in this model? Are there times where you got into a disintegration of sorts and then found yourself at the end of the tunnel, triumphant, and then you looked behind and said, was that me struggling there then? I'm glad I went through that because it has led me to here. This could be the model that you can use for your own quantum growth, development, and transformation. Let us look at another model. And this model is called the Quantum Smile Model by Bapak Magishri in 2012. A smile is the deliberate use of a physical smile to instantly hack our body's energy and aura and mindset. Every time you smile, your aura expands. So instead of waiting to feel happy before we smile, we can smile first to have a shift in our internal state. As a result, then we get the reality that we will perceive after it has been communicated to our aura. So a smile can be used as a micro leap to instantly recalibrate our identity from a state of lack to one of abundance. Remember those times when your thoughts were focused on lack, as you looked all around you and there was nothing to be proud of, not something on your account or in your pocket, but the moment you smiled, even if your pocket did not have a note inserted into it, you felt confident that abundance was on its way, and it did come indeed. So this smile is a physical anchor for quantum manifestation, feeling the joy of a desired outcome as if it's already occurred. And this is reality anchoring. So inner smile meditation is a Taoist practice where the energy of a smile is directed to internal organs to stimulate cellular self-regulation. A warm golden light associated with quantum healing energy is visualized, and it transforms the negative emotional residue that is stored in each of our 5 internal organs, and it is alchemized into vital internal force. Our kidneys store fear, our heart stores agitation, our liver stores anger, resentment, and bitterness. Our lungs store grief and sadness, and our spleen and stomach store over-worrying and overthinking. So when we smile into those organs, the emotional residue is transformed into vital force. And modern science and neuroscience supports this. And it shows that even a forced smile can trick the brain into happiness, effectively hacking the bio-quantum system to reduce cortisol and adrenaline. So in quantum transformation models, this quantum smile is a deliberate technique used to bridge physical expression with energetic shifts in our aura, using the principle that internal states and external realities are entangled. So quantum smile creates a vibrational frequency shift, and smiling is one of the fastest ways to raise our vibration. Smile right now as you listen to this presentation. Are you beginning to feel an expansion? That is confirmation that your vibrational frequency is raising. So smiling is one of the latest ways to raise our vibration, and it triggers the release of dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. And this sends a signal to our aura to align with more positive states of being. Have you let this quantum smile model pass through you? And will you use it as your model for quantum spiritual growth, development, and transformation? Let us go yet to another model. And this model is known as quantum thinking transformation by Moira Gary in 2024, just 1.5 years ago. And it is a personal development method focusing on talking therapies to create sustainable, lasting life changes. And it promotes and combines neuroscience, quantum physics, and energy psychology. And it bypasses the analytical mind to access the subconscious mind where stuck patterns of our traumas and old stories reside. So it's done through a series of structured workshops following these core steps. And the therapist uses muscle testing to speak to the subconscious mind. Since the conscious mind often hides the truth to protect you, muscle testing identifies the exact age or event where the limiting belief of I'm not good enough was first downloaded. What is muscle testing? Muscle testing bypasses the conscious mind's filters and speaks directly to the subconscious mind by monitoring the muscle responses to the questions that are asked. The therapist will ask the client to hold their hand and stretch it out. And when the subconscious mind agrees with the statement that the therapist is talking to you about, the arm or the hand and the muscle remain strong. But if the subconscious mind of the client disagrees with the question that the therapist is giving to the client, the muscle goes weak. That is muscle testing. So the first step is subconscious inquiry, where the therapist uses the muscle testing to speak to the subconscious mind. And the purpose is for the conscious mind that usually hides and protects is now identifying the exact age where the event or the limiting belief happened. For example, let's take an example of a client with fear of success. Put yourself there. The client has a conscious desire to increase income, but is sabotaging their work performance. So the first thing to do is setting the stage and establishing the yes and no. And what the therapist does, therapist asks the client to lie or sit down and lift their dominant hand forward. And to verify the connection, the therapist will ask, my name is, by asking the client's real name. For example, let's say the name is Mary, and that is the correct name of the client. So the therapist says, my name is Mary, and then places down on the hand, but the hand is strong because Mary is the true name of the client. And the arm stays firm. So next, the client asks and says another statement that is not true in the subconscious of the client. And the therapist might say, my name is Bobo, and then places a little pressure on the arm, and the arm goes weak because the subconscious is not aware of the name Bobo. Now, what happens next? We are trying to identify the limiting belief and where it could have originated. And the therapist seeks to find the underlying issue causing the sabotage of their own work or their own performance. So what the therapist now does, the therapist presents a statement. I want to be successful. And she or he says this out loud to the client. And the client's arm goes weak. And the interpretation is that the subconscious mind does not agree with this statement when the client listens to the therapist telling her that I want to be successful. Because the subconscious mind remembers what the client did before, which wasn't what was leading the client to success. So the subconscious mind does not agree with that statement, and the arm will go weak. Now, next, the client asks a different question. It is safe to be successful. The arm goes weak again. The therapist keeps on asking, do I believe I deserve to be successful? The arm goes weak again. Now the therapist asks for the reason for this blockage, whether it is in childhood or adulthood or past memory. And then the statement changes. The reason I fear success is due to a memory before I was 10 years old. The arm stays strong. So through guided inquiry, the client realizes that their subconscious mind connects success with losing a friend or a belief developed after being bullied before they were 10 years old. So once the core of the root of the problem has been gotten, now we go into repatterning and confirmation. So the therapist uses techniques like tapping or positive affirmations, e.g., I am safe and worthy to be successful, to clear that energetic block. And the therapist tests original statement again. I am safe and worthy to be successful. And the arm stays strong. So the subconscious has accepted the new belief, and the energy around the memory of being bullied has shifted, preventing future self-sabotage. If you have put yourself in that model, use it for your own quantum growth, development, and transformation. And the notes are going to be given to you so that you can choose which model you can use and then practice with it to see how you quantumly grow, develop, and transform. Another model we can look at is the quantum leap model. And this is by Price Pritchett in 1991. And it focuses on facilitating rapid exponential growth rather than slow incremental development using visualization, intention, and 0-point field work to leap to a new level of being. And it's for achieving rapid, enduring transformation by shifting our core beliefs and energetic frequency rather than relying on gradual linear effort. And it is described as a quantum leap because we can transition from one state of being to a radically different one in a very short time. And there are two major shifts that can happen. The types of quantum change. Insight transformation. Insight transformation alone is a sudden bolt where a person gains a deeper inner understanding that makes old habits immediately irrelevant. And then there is that mystical transformation, that profound, often ineffable experience of unity and transcendence that permanently alters one's personality and values. And the process typically follows these key stages. And the first stage is intentional awareness and alignment. And this is a process that begins by identifying a specific area of change and setting a clear intention. For example, for one who has been experiencing and believing that they are not worthy of love, and their clear intention is, I am worthy of love, or I want to be worthy of love. So practitioners use techniques like metacognition to communicate with the unconscious mind and ensure that the body, mind, and spirit are aligned with the new goal. Because what we tell our subconscious mind, like in the previous model we saw, the subconscious mind will either agree with it or it will disagree with it. So when we use metacognition, the individual becomes the curious bystander to their own automatic thoughts and behaviors, noticing where they lose awareness during the day. So we have identified the clear root belief. Now we will go to the source identifications, where the limiting belief or painful pattern was first established and mainly in childhood. And once we have realized that this person's disempowering belief of I am unworthy of love started when she was 4 years old, when her sibling was given more affection than her. Then the next step is release and forgiveness. clearing the issue through conscious understanding and compassion and acceptance. For example, this particular person will understand that her mother did not refuse to give her affection. It is because the younger sibling had an issue with her health that required the mother to be constantly with her from hospital to hospital, which this particular other sibling misunderstood as withdrawal of affection. So that understanding will lead to forgiveness. And when that has happened, there is an entering into the unknown or the quantum field. So after that, we move beyond the current environment and familiar identity of I am not worthy of love. And we mentally rehearse the new reality that we want. I am worthy of love. And this elevated emotion, intentionally feeling high frequency emotions like gratitude, joy, and love. I am grateful. I have received this insight and this understanding that my mother did not intentionally withdraw affection from me. My sister was sick. So that understanding and that elevated emotion of being grateful, I am grateful, I have understood, that alone alters the body's electromagnetic field and signal, and the quantum field manifests a new reality. And the new belief that we are anchoring, I am worthy of love, is integrated at a cellular level, ensuring that the body follows the new mind. As this shift is deepened into our cellular structure and into our aura, it prevents a return of the old autopilot behaviors of running away from love because we think we are not worthy of it. So if that model has touched you and could be helpful for you, grab it. The next model is quantum entanglement meditation in quantum personal growth. And it is popularized by Deepak Chopra and Joe Dispenza. And it focuses on the interconnectedness of all beings to foster compassion and social responsibility through ripple effects in social networks. And it transcends the illusion of separation, and it uses the principle that once two particles or once two consciousness interact, they remain connected across space and time, influencing each other. You will take time to read that for yourself in the notes that are going to be provided for you and see if you can use it. And the next one is zero-point field exploration, born with Max Planck in 1911 and proven by Stephen Lamorieux in 1997. Read that for yourself and see if you can implement it for your own personal growth. And the other one is superposition thinking by Erwin Schrödinger in 1926. Read that for yourself and see if you can use it for your own personal growth. And then quantum water therapy for spiritual transformation by Dr. Kathleen Lehman and Dr. Maria Ramos in 2020. That is also recent, and this is closest to my heart. And it combines intention, visualization, and symbolic action to shift consciousness to a desired reality. And this quantum water therapy for spiritual transformation is based on the research by Dr. Masaru Emoto and Veda Austin. And according to them, water records and reacts to frequencies. It reacts to emotions and it reacts to our thoughts. And water is a conductor of vibration and energy, and it absorbs almost every other substance into it, and it becomes it. According to them, the water that is placed in a quarrelsome environment and the water that is placed in a peaceful environment, when those two samples after 24 hours are collected and analyzed, the one in a very quarrelsome environment gets figures and symbols that are chaotic. The one in a peaceful environment gets very beautiful shapes. So according to them, water takes on the nature of every environment that it is placed in. That's why it's very, very important for us to be aware of the water that we drink. In which environment has it been over the 24 hours? What kind of water are we taking in? What has it been programmed with? And that's why it is important to bless our water or to bless our food before we eat it. Because saying statements upon our water, the water embodies the statements that we have spoken onto it. So now let's ask ourselves a question. If water is part of the earth, and if water is part of our own physical bodies, where our bodies are more than 70% water, and we are water beings, and where earth inhabits 75% of water, and the earth we live on is a water planet. What relationship do we have with water within our own bodies? And what relationship do we have with water on the planet around us? How do we program the water with the energy of our thoughts, with the energy of our emotions? Because if our thoughts are positive and our emotions are positive and the words we say are positive, we are imbuing the water within every cell of our body with positivity. And that upgrades our health physiologically. If our thoughts and emotions and the words we say are negative, then we are impregnating every cell of our body, the water within it, with negativity, and that will downgrade our physiological health. Remember that water is a powerful conductor of energy and intention. And water is a liquid intelligence that is capable of amplifying human frequencies to reprogram the body at a cellular level. When we set and broadcast an intention, we don't just passively receive healing, we participate in a sudden frequency shift. Drinking charged water, we anchor new intentions into our physical body. And we accelerate creation of a desired reality. For example, if you have placed water on a $100 bill overnight, and in the morning you drink that water has been programmed with abundance. So flow and shifts in water are used to release stagnant emotional energy. For example, the energy of scarcity, creating zero gravity energy states. And water helps, and remember zero gravity, 0 point is the state of infinite possibilities. By getting into zero gravity, we are diving into infinite possibilities, and we are creating a reality of infinite possibilities from scarcity. So water helps align with higher vibrational frequencies, facilitating a transition towards higher states of being. And it connects us to the flow of life and to enhanced intuition. Remember, the quantum field already knows where you need to be. All we need to do is to listen attentively to its whispers and then take that intuited, inspired action to the direction it is leading us to. And all this is possible because of the 70% of water that is in our bodies and the more than 70% of water that is in the environment around us. And this allows for a profound connection to the spirit or the higher self. So the water on our planet has been programmed with all the knowledge, love, and understanding that we seek. And water allows our consciousness to travel to other dimensions easily. So if this quantum water therapy for spiritual transformation has touched you, take it for yourself. And the question I leave to you with you today, what insights have you received on the therapies to use for personal transformation, not only for yourself, but later for your clients as well? Enjoy your evening. Thank you for listening.